Helldivers, today the CEO spilled the beans regarding the roadmap coming and on who is behind this very cynical plan.
And the best part of this plan is, no one can stop me. Not even the Helldivers.
But the great thing, guys, is we're also getting brand new gear to combat this force. So let's go ahead and dive in and talk about who exactly the Game Master is and what he's actually doing and why this might be the reason we lost the creek. So if you want to make sure you stay up to date to everything Helldivers, don't forget to hit that like for freedom and spread some democracy. Now, with that being said, fellas, let's jump right into it. So, on my previous video, I got a lot of people questioning how the heck did we lose the creek? Well, I wanted to give you guys a quick explanation because I know there's a ton of new players coming into Helldivers and the game mechanics seem a little bit different. And this is also going to explain how the Game Master has so much to do in the game that you're going to start thinking of the game differently if you didn't know the big role that the Game Master actually plays. So within the game, guys, there's different sectors, there's different planets, and as you guys know, each planet is being contested by the specific enemy we're fighting. We have the automatons, and of course, we have the bugs. Now, all of these are fighting for power, and whenever you go to a planet, you're going to see a blue bar and a red bar. This is determining how much resistance we're applying against this enemy and how much, offense this enemy is applying. Now, the thing about here is when a planet gets overrun by the enemy, in this case, how we lost our creek, us Helldivers weren't able to defend that planet. We weren't able to take control of that planet. Now, the reason is because we didn't have enough forces fighting in that planet. And this actually leads me to a little bit of controversy that has been going around within the community. So as you guys know, a lot of people are doing that one particular mission that allows you to level up. And a lot of people feel that the reason we lost the creek was because everybody was doing this particular mission, and that actually caused the forces to overtake the creek. Now, we actually have full confirmation on if that affects it or if it doesn't affect it at all by Misty, one of the community managers. He says, I just got confirmation that abandoning an operation does not progress the enemy's percentage. So people who leave operations do not negatively affect a planet, but they do not positively affect it either. So this is something really important that you need to understand. And if we need to understand as a community, if we don't complete all the 3 objectives or all the 2 objectives that are within that planet, it's not going to help the planet at all. We're not hurting the planet, but we're not helping it at all. So if we are getting overrun on a specific planet, the only way we're actually able to affect the outcome of that planet if it gets overrun or overtaken is by actually completing every single mission. If you don't complete every single mission and you abandon the whole complete mission, then you're not hurting it or you're not affecting it in any way, but you're not helping it either. So it's very important that we understand that as a community. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the Game Master and how this plays a complete factor on everything we do in the game. Thanks to a recent interview done by PC Gamer, we might get information on why we lost Malevolent Creek and why this might have been an inside job. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, guys, the CEO of Helldivers reveals to us that there is an actual person with the title Game Master. His name is Joel, and he is pulling the strings of the Galactic War every single day. He has a close eye on what's actually happening, very similar to the powerful Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master who would overlook the tabletop game, even though in this particular game, it's a little bit more sophisticated. The CEO says that Arrowhead has noticed that the players are getting very attached to specific planets, very similar to what happened with Benevolent Creek, where we were calling it Vietnam. And based on this, he sees that they plan on making the planets more of a character feature in the game. He says that the simulated conflict between playing out both in the game and in social media has become an unexpected focal point to the Helldivers experience. Unexpected to the players, that is. The developer Arrowhead Game Studios says that the war is a product of careful planning and storytelling by a specific behind-the-scenes individual that is pulling the strings. This person is described once again as a Game Master, very similar to a Dungeon Master in Dungeons & Dragons. He states, we have a lot of systems built into the game where the Game Master has a lot of control over the play experience. It's something that we are continuously evolving based on what's happening in the game. He continues and says, And as part of the roadmap, there are things that we want to keep secret because we want to surprise and delight. Now, we're going to be talking a little bit more about what the surprises and delights might be and how we are going to be getting, guys, some brand new gear that's going to help us fight the automatons, maybe the new faction that's coming. So make sure you guys buckle up. Now, with that being said, guys, if you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit the like and sub for more Helldivers content. Now, the CEO states that Dungeons & Dragons has been a major inspiration for Arrowhead. The studio aims to replicate, collaborate, reactive storytelling of tabletop games in Helldivers, acknowledging the difference between design and campaign for a small party versus millions of players. He says it's the same format when you build that for millions of players. It's just that you cannot get as personal with every individual, but you can still do the same twists and turns. Now, these twists and turns were actually explained before the release of Helldivers, but a lot of people don't know about these twists and turns because we have a ton of new Helldivers coming into the scene. And some of these twists and turns we have already seen play out, and for those of you who are new, you probably didn't catch them because you're coming into the game barely, but there has been a special events where we got special stratagems mid-missions to spice things up or extend the narrative of an event a little bit more, or to just make the Galactic War last a little bit longer. We first got a taste of these type of events a week after launch when the offensive campaign against the Terminids was interrupted by the automatons' invasion on the opposite end of the galaxy. We had to switch focus and head on over to the other planets to stop that invasion. Now, the studio says that it has predictions on how the war will play out and has devised set pieces that they think will be significant, but in true tabletop fashion. The story will change based on the player's behavior. And one of the things that has changed is the maximum amount influx of players that we have coming into the game. They really didn't expect this many people playing it, so a lot of things have changed as we have been progressing. And they say that this has actually taken a toll with actual Game Master Joel, who has already had to grease up the wheel for the enemy a few times when the Helldivers community proved a little bit too efficient at spreading liberty and democracy. I'm telling you, man, the Creek was an inside job, guys. You're going to find out right now. He says there has been some sudden movements where maybe one planet was too easy or one was too hard, and Joel, the Game Master, had to get up in the middle of the night to give the automatons a bit of reinforcement so the players don't take the planet too quickly. I'm telling you, it's an inside job, guys. We got shenanigans. He says another moment of improvisation was less obvious. After the community managed to liberate the first batch of the Terminids planet faster than Arrowhead anticipated, there was an unplanned day of nothing happening before the automaton invasion was to begin. So Joel, the Game Master, in his infinite wisdom, he said to himself, what happens when a faction wins a portion of a war? Well, they mine everything. And that's where the incendiary mine segment came from. Players might remember this as a 24-hour period where the incendiary mines stratagem was available for free on all missions. A cheeky, if vague moment of payoff. Now, with that being said, guys, they said that they have noticed that the players have gone extremely attached to planets. Kind of like the legendary Malevolent Creek, aka Robot Vietnam, that has recently fell to the hands of the automaton control. Players are mourning their loss, guys. We're crying. We're shedding tears. We can't believe it. That's why we need our brother in arms, man. We need more Helldivers. Xbox, can you hear me? But because of its story significance and the fact that the planet is now inaccessible, we look at individual planets as there was a planet that we made that was good fun. And we have made so many of them. But the community's attachment to each planet is significant. So one of the things we're looking at internally is how can we reconsider these planets to become more of a character going forward. I'm really excited for this because it's going to give us more storytelling, more dynamic when it comes to these type of planets. And I have a question for you guys. What planet are you mostly attached to? Let me know in the comments section down below. For the CEO, he says that this is a back and forth relationship between players. It's also grounded in the studio's general philosophy that a player gives feedback and the developer listens, which for him dates back to the time when he used to play Quake and Half-Life as a modder. He states, you had like this really good connection between developing the game, releasing new updates, playtesting it with like a very tight-knit group, and then developing it into a larger audience. But that continuous improvement, that continuous development, and just being able to surprise people and get the immediate feedback from them, appreciating the content we're putting up, has been such a staple to me in how I view games as something that should be developed together with the community. I'm extremely excited, guys, because this is what makes this game stand out from other games. The nice transparency that not only the developer has, but also the CEO, and in addition to that, them actually listening to the feedback, because that's been one of the biggest problems with gaming. You give the feedback, but nothing is actually ever done about it. This time around, the feedback is actually getting listened to and being implemented. Now, as Arrowhead turns its attention to the future updates that are coming, and the community looks forward to a next chapter in war, with the automaton invasion coming to a close, what will Arrowhead throw at us? And that is what we need to talk about, guys, because the future looks really crazy. Guys, we are getting a brand new set of arsenal to bring into the field, and that is a mech. Now, there is a leak about the footage of the mech, and boy, does it look amazing. Not only, the first thing that stands out to me is how fast he's able to turn around in 360 degrees. And just imagine, guys, having a bunch of mechs running around reminds me a lot of Titanfall. And as you guys know, I'm a big Titanfall fan. So just imagine 4 mechs running havoc and not only dealing with the bugs and the automatons, but also the brand new faction that's coming into the game. I am extremely excited. And talking about the new faction, if you haven't seen my video going over the new faction, highly recommend you guys check it out. The video's up here. Make sure you guys click on it and check it out. Don't forget, guys, to stay up to date to everything Helldivers. Make sure you guys keep it locked in this channel. Subscribe, turn those notifications, and happy spreading democracy. I'll talk to you guys later.